It's not pleasant, is it? It hurts quite a bit, doesn't it? I did not inflict those wounds on you, though. They are your own, and no one can erase them. Hello and welcome. I'm Ashmanix, and this is the house in Fata Morgana, once again. In my last part of the playthrough, I was quite taken aback by the series of events that kind of went through, and I was the series of events that happened, and genuinely relieved to see Giselle's face again in Michel's retelling of his past, especially after all the betrayal that was on display. The betrayal, the final betrayal on Michel's death, hearing his brother's voice as one of the pursuers who basically killed Michel. So yeah, that was I mean, we got to see Giselle again, which was great, and then we ended on that final, very final betrayal, though I suspect there might be more to come, because not all has been unveiled. I suspect they might go into detail. Well, there might be some explanation as to why Michel's brother was had such a change of heart. I don't know, and I forget his name now, which is really annoying. No, Georgie was the other brother who had already betrayed Michel by, well, hurt Michel greatly by doing the painting of Michel as a woman on behalf of Michel's mother. But yes, shall we get into this? If I could carry on just sitting there pondering about it for a very long time. You mentally prepare myself. I should have refilled my bottle of water. Actually, I think I will do that. Let's see if I can just pause for a minute. Apologies for that little pause. I had to get some more water. I have to prepare mentally and physically prepare myself for this. So we go back in once again to the chapter called This Mutilated Body. Let's do this. What a brilliant point in the story to come back to. And so my life came to an end. But that wasn't the end of the story. I don't know if what comes next could be called my story. But memories of these events linger in my soul. After being pierced by Didier's blade, that was the name, I found myself looking down upon my own corpse. How could I have ever imagined that I would be made to witness my own misery even in death? I watched as my eldest brother dragged me to the place of my crucifixion, and my soul, evidently still bound to my flesh, was dragged along with it, against my will, down to the nearby village. The knights! The knights have returned from their holy quest! Oh, how we've waited your arrival! How glorious it is to see you! Waiting for us there was a cluster of villagers. A large cross lay on the ground in the centre of the square. Holding torches, they formed a crowd around the knights, several of them familiar faces. The men who had come to ransack the mansion were standing there, staring at my body in awe. "Ah, the Lord's judgment has been delivered unto the witch of the cursed mansion by his holy servants. No longer shall we live in fear of the curse befalling us. Eternal peace is assured." Amity, is that the guy that helped out Giselle, but then was like, "Aren't you going to marry me?" Just kept pestering her about it. And I've just realised I've not switched to full screen. Apologies. I wonder if it was this person. "You have assembled all the tools you need to execute your divine mission. A cross befitting of such a heinous sinner. That witch threatened to curse us, sullied our pure ears with its blasphemy. I had done no such thing. I hadn't cursed anyone. I had merely been defending myself. They had been armed and outnumbered me, so I had said what was necessary to chase them off. Our poor harvest and our suffering at the hands of the greedy Lord were all the work of the witch. Why, then, were they acting like I was at fault? Why was I the sinner, and why did I need to be judged? My soul trembled at the overwhelming fervour consuming the crowd, their zealous desire to see judgment cast. So I prayed. I asked God to grant me the smallest of miracles, to let my voice reach my brother who carried my body. Please don't do this, Didier. Please hear my voice. You know me better than that. You know I've done nothing wrong. Those men smirking at the sight of my body, they're the ones putting the blame for their sins on me. Please, tell me you, at least, don't think I did those things. Don't put me on that cross. If it was Mother who sold me out to the church, then surely you can give me a respectable burial. The nails and rope for the crucifixion are here. We would have you, O knight, deliver the Lord's judgment unto this vile witch." Didier, why do you say nothing? Why do you accept the tools this man presents you? Tools meant to punish me. Tell me, Didier. Crucifixion! Crucify it! Crucify the witch! My brother lowered my corpse to the ground and began removing my clothing. And in that very moment, I realized the purpose of hanging someone from a cross. Overwhelmed by hopelessness, tears streamed down my face. Please, anything but that. I'm begging you. Don't expose me to these people. Don't expose my body, Didier. I'm begging you. Don't do it. But of course, my voice had no way of reaching him, and he proceeded to remove my clothing, piece by piece, until I was left fully nude. For a brief moment, an unpleasant silence spread through the crowd. The erratic cackling of their torches was the only sound that could be heard in the square. And then, with a mocking laugh, one man spoke. "Ah, so there it is, the devilish creature. Don't look at me, please, look away. Or just get it over with and burn me now. Burn my body, please." One simple thing was all I was missing. I had a frame like a man. I lacked breasts of a woman. My heart was male. I was in love with a woman. You sold your soul to the devil, and this is what you became. This frightful, reprehensible creature. To dare defile the sacred body God blessed you with. Was that what people really thought of me? Was there no way to make them understand? Could they not possibly imagine how miserable it was to live in a body that didn't fit the shape of your soul? Was there no way to get through to them, even the slightest bit, that all I wanted was to be what I felt I was? Was that really so heinous a crime? Please, Didier, stop this. Don't humiliate me any further. Please, just let me depart this world in peace. carry my body away from this place. That's all I ask. And if you can't do that, then at least burn me instead. Did ye? Did ye? He then placed my body upon the cross, bound my arms together at the wrists with rope, and then drove a nail through my palms. I couldn't look away. I tried to close my eyes, but I couldn't. My vision remained perfectly clear, despite the constant stream of tears. When he was finished attaching my body to the cross, he and several other knights lifted it off the ground, planting it in the center of the village square. The villagers showered the knights with their praise and gratitude. Not for lack of trying, I was unable to get away from the cross. My soul was trapped there along with my body. Didier didn't say a word the entire time. After a full day hanging there, grotesque blackish splotches began appearing on my lower body. Everyone who saw it grimaced in disgust. The knights, Didier included, had long since taken their leave, leaving my soul behind, curled up at the base of the cross. A constant stream of tears ran down my face. Despite all my prayers, I remained bound to that place, left to rot in the cross with my body. Passers-by threw rocks or spat on me. Children laughed. A mother warned her daughter to always obey God's teachings. By 48 hours, black-feathered birds and maggots had appeared to devour my rotting flesh. I couldn't imagine any less pleasant a sight than my own body decaying in the sunlight, exposed for all to see. A group of children assembled in the square not far from the cross, and soon after, a competition began to see who could take down the evil witch. They gathered all the rocks they could find and started throwing them at my corpse as hard as they could. The stones ripped through my decomposing flesh, exposing bits of bone. Eventually, they settled on a winner, the one who had torn off the most flesh, and went on their way. And when they were gone, the birds flocked in to take their place. The third day and night came and went, and at sunrise on the fourth day, I received a visitor. "Watch your step, madam. The crucifix is this way." After everything I had been through, I thought nothing more could possibly affect me. I had sunk as far down into the abyss as I could go. However, Mother. I knew it was her instantly. She was older and bonier than I remembered. She had bags under her eyes so dark they looked like bruises. Her once lustrous blonde hair had faded almost white. But I would always recognize my own mother. "What are you doing here, Mother?" "Father." In the 13 years since I had last heard Mother's voice, it had grown raspy and weak, but there were still distinct traces in it of the woman who had raised me, who had stayed at my bedside when I was sick. Though I lacked a physical body, I still felt a deep, piercing chill at the sound of her voice. "Father, this is not my daughter. I did not birth this accursed thing. No, I am her victim. For years I suffered at the hands of this witch. She stole my daughter away from me, tormenting me, endlessly tormenting me, trying to ruin me. A demon. You're a demon. Mother. I despise you, you foul, hellish monster. I loved you. You took everything from me. I could never bring myself to hate my birth mother. I feel nothing but revulsion for you. I loved you. An eternity in the fires of hell would be too good for you. I often disagreed with the things you said and did, but I still remember the feeling of your hand in mine as I lay sick in bed. I have absolutely no relation to this demon. I kept writing you letters, kept pretending to be a girl for you, because I didn't want to hurt you. This is not my daughter. I couldn't stand doing it. Whenever I sat down to write one, I came out a horrible wreck, even worse off than before. But even so, send this monster straight to hell. I didn't want to break you, Mother. I didn't want to push you any further off the edge. Quickly, set me free of this accursed thing! But I suppose I still did end up breaking you. Please, be at ease, madam. The Lord has heard your prayers. He wants you to cast the demon into the cleansing fires. He wants you to show him that, as you say, you have no relation to this unholy thrall. I'll gladly send this vile creature to the deepest pits of hell with my own 2 hands. Her eyes swirling with every hateful emotion imaginable, Mother took the torch from the priest and tossed it into the pile of straw spread around the base of the cross. The flame crackled as it spread upward, consuming my body and filling the square with the putrid stench of burning flesh. Through the cloud of smoke, I could see a faint smile on Mother's lips. Mother, I'm so sorry. You had to give birth to me. When the inferno had devoured everything, and the cross itself came crumbling down, my soul was finally released from that place. Or rather, I suppose it went more shattered. The things I saw, the things I was made to watch, were harrowing. Morgana had been right. The anguish that came after knowing happiness was much greater than anything I had felt before. It eroded my spirit, drained me of the willpower to bear the sight of the world after death. But rather than giving in to hatred like Morgana had, I despaired of myself. I didn't curse or bear a grudge against anyone. I prayed for my own extinguishment. My soul began to crumble, neither ascending to heaven nor falling to hell, but fading into darkness everlasting. My fingers were the first to go, then my eyes, and then my mouth. All sound vanished into nothingness. My beating heart and all the emotions that had once taken root within it scattered like leaves upon the wind. My soul completely, wholly decomposed. I couldn't stand to allow my soul to return to the living world, no matter what it might take residence in. Some length of time later, I began to hear a sound, muffled and indistinct. No longer human in form, I had no ears to speak of, but the sound gradually increased in volume. It was a voice. Where are you, Michel? What are you doing? I'm still praying. I'm still wishing for you to appear before me, forever and ever and ever, and ever and ever and ever. I've been praying for so long, I don't even know how long it's been. Before you left, you said you were going to pray too. You said you hoped we could meet again in another life. I'm not misremembering, am I? Michel, come back to me soon. As if drawn in by the sound of that voice, bit by bit, I began regaining some of what I had lost, but it took an incredibly long time. My body and soul had been ground to dust. I had rejected myself, scattered it into the void. It would take several lifetimes to find and reassemble all those pieces. Michel, all I can remember about you is your name, your glassy white skin, your fiery red eyes, and your snow-coloured hair. Nothing else. I had thought my mind, my body, my spirit, and my heart had all been eradicated. But every time I heard that voice, I thought, I must return. Well, thought is perhaps inaccurate. It was not so much a conscious idea as an instinctive force. The voice slowly buried the overwhelming pain I had suffered in both life and death. I began to search for the source of that quiet, constant whisper echoing into the emptiness, chasing after that tiny fleck of light, the one thing in the world that seemed to desire my presence. Michel, I'm no longer the girl I once was. I built a thick cocoon around myself. A cocoon I can't break free of. My own protective shell is devouring me. I'm waiting for you, Michel. Waiting for you inside my shell. Always waiting. Will you be able to recognize the person I've become? Please, Michel. Get me out of here. At long, long last, I found the ray of light I sought. I had an absolute certainty that if I followed it, I would reach the source of that voice. I had to find them. I had to set them free. I desperately had to give back to them what they had given to me. And that sense of purpose is what set me back into motion. But the void was so expansive, so endlessly deep, that reaching the end of the trail of light was no easy task. Struggling to follow it to its source wore my barely held together soul thin, until it crumbled apart once more. Again and again I lost myself. I can't account for much of my time chasing after that light. The gaps in my memory are large and frequent. Nevertheless, after countless cycles of breaking down and reassembling myself, after hundreds of years of wandering, I finally found my way back to that mansion. And when the two of us had our long-awaited reunion, neither of us were our old selves any longer. In my endeavour to return, I had worn my soul down to almost nothing. I was but a vague shadow, completely devoid of memories. And that was the beginning. We met each other anew, lost and broken, devoid of life. The darkness here reminds me of my time in the void, of the despair that filled my shattered soul as it sunk into the endless abyss, of the emptiness I felt as my body crumbled and faded into nothing. Michel, the poor soul who was named for an angel and born with a curse, made to bear an unfairly cruel fate. I am the only one who sympathizes with you, the only one who understands your pain, the only one willing to help you. I'm sure you're not feeling particularly fond of me right now. Not after I made you relive the past you so wanted to forget. Every moment of that despair. Not after I revealed your every last secret to the woman you love. But you must face the truth, my dear. You put your life, your very soul on the line for this woman. And even she would not accept you. But as I have said before, that's the normal response. She's no worse than anyone else for it. You simply aren't something people can accept. You believe that even your family wouldn't, that even your dear brothers wouldn't. Giselle would be able to accept you for you. That she alone was different. That she alone was special. That she alone wanted you in her life. That she alone would extend her hand for you. You never doubted that, did you? But Michel, hope exists to be crushed. And the stronger you cling to that hope, the more you have to lose. You can hear that, can't you? Her mocking you, scorning you, rejecting everything that defines you. The revulsion in her voice. This is the woman you fought so hard to get back. Listen to it, my dear. Focus on her voice. Disgusting. Disgusting, 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 disgusting. Stop, please. I don't want to hear it anymore. Make it stop. Can you blame her, though? For hundreds of years she waited, trusting you, and you came back to her a woman more than once. If you think about it, you betrayed her first. No, stop, don't. I didn't. Tell me, what was it like? How did it feel to be born and live as a woman? You spent your life insisting you weren't a woman, and yet your soul chose a female body to return in. All those gaps in your memory were from your lives as a white-haired girl. First there was the kind, mild-mannered, flaxen-haired boy. You, a woman, and he, a man, were joined in love. And then there was the deranged man-beast. By exposing your female body to him, you were able to temporarily contain his madness. And finally, there was the man obsessed with money and power. You were his wife, ever faithful, waiting patiently for him to remember his love. You put your faith in the wrong person's love. How can you expect her not to be disgusted? She was forced to watch again and again as the man she loved was reborn as a woman and had relations with other men. Would you like to know what you're doing right this moment, Michel? You're crying. Crying as you have done so many times before. Those tears, they wash away your dignity. Would you also like to know how you look right now, Michel? You've reverted to your final moments, both in body and in heart. Take a look at yourself, my dear. Your body, incomplete, only partially male. The wounds still fresh and raw. Pierced by your brother whom you trusted completely, and the knights whose ranks you dreamed of joining. Even now your blood still flows from those wounds. They will never heal, not so long as you remain yourself. It's not pleasant, is it? It hurts quite a bit, doesn't it? I did not inflict those wounds on you, though. They are your own, and no one can erase them. You've lost everything, Michel. Tell me, what do you have left? You were robbed of your pride, your dignity, your life, your identity, your very existence. And the love you thought you still had? Well, she's gone and left you behind too. And still you refuse to curse anyone. Why do you not take that what you deserve from those who stole everything from you? You have every right for vengeance, and I'm offering you the means to have it. Curse them, my dear. I cannot curse anyone.
You disappoint me, Michel. But if that's what you want, if you won't join me in my hatred, then so be it. I will accept we are not as similar as I once thought. And as much as it pains me to do so, I will release you. I will even wish for your reconstruction into the body you desire. You shall descend into the mortal realm as a human man, never to set foot in this cursed mansion again. Imagine it. After waiting for so long, you will finally be able to obtain the body you so desperately seek. To have a wife and create a happy family of your own. Wouldn't that just be lovely? I'll make that wish for you, my dear. You can have that life. All you have to do is walk out that door. It's that easy. Just let go. Let it all go, Michel. No way am I letting go. Get the Don't listen to her. I just want to say I didn't click on that. I highlighted it, but I didn't click on it. Don't trust anything she says. Don't trust anything she shows you. Michel, you told me you believed in my love. That if I could survive for hundreds of years, it must be real. So don't start doubting it now. Open your eyes, Michel, and look at me. I had a feeling that what the witch was showing Michel was false, but I didn't know. You can never know. Listen to me, please. Listen to the sound of my voice. Michel, will you listen to what I really think? How I actually feel? I would never ever push you away. Do you remember what I said, Michel? When you broke through the cocoon I'd built around myself, I said that I would never come to hate you. I still stand by that. My feelings haven't changed in the slightest. It doesn't matter what kind of past you had, or what kind of secrets you kept. I still love you. You accepted me, Michel. I spent hundreds of years trapped in this place, watching as tragedy after tragedy befell its residents, slowly losing my grip on myself until I had been twisted so far I could tell them like stories with a cold smile on my face. And despite what I had become, you still took my hand. You still said you loved me. No matter what horrors you've experienced, I will always and forever take your hand. Michel. Giselle. Please have faith in me, Michel. Don't believe what some illusion says. Believe me. Believe the real me. You have it backwards, Giselle. The truth is, I never once doubted you. What? I never doubted your love. Michel. Oh. I despised myself. I hated that I was so weak I couldn't even bear being rejected by a phantasm made to look like you. I didn't want you to see me like that. I didn't want you to know I was so weak to see my past. To see me now, a pitiful and sightly mess. I couldn't stand the thought of you seeing any of that. If only in your memories, if only for you, I wanted to be gallant, to be a man. I wanted to be the man who never cried, who never showed weakness, and who died trying to protect you. I didn't want I didn't want you to know that I was so weak, that I was such a sad, frail person, and not even a real man. Michel, I didn't want you to see that. Morgana was telling the truth. I opened the door to our past in order to bring you back, but that wasn't the whole story. I kept details about myself out, things that would make me look bad. There's no one as shameful and reprehensible as me. No, Michel. There's no one in this world as admirable as you. You remained true to yourself to the end. No matter how bad things got, day after day you fought all alone, despite being put through hell, yet you chose not to curse those responsible. Only once did you ever consider cursing someone. Your father. I remember that day very well. I was too stupid to realize it at the time, but you did that for me. The one time you ever wanted to curse someone was for me. Give yourself a little more credit. You did perhaps come off as a bit inscrutable, but deep down you're truer to yourself than anyone. Your motivation's simple and pure. Your heart full of kindness. Know that you're a wonderful, admirable man, Michel. Be proud of who you are. That doesn't change how much suffering I put you through, Giselle. I was the white-haired girl. The girl in the portrait was me. It was all me. I came back more than once, showing up a woman, then disappearing again, hurting you, completely unaware, pushing you away, leaving nothing but tragedy in my wake. I'll never forgive myself for what I did to you. Have faith in yourself, Michel. Follow your heart. I know it was a secret you didn't want revealed, but for me, I couldn't be happier to know the truth, because it shows just how incredible, how much you loved me. And not only in life, the hundreds of years I spent trapped in this mansion, you spent searching for me. In that vast, empty, hopeless void, you heard my voice. Your love guided you to me. When you had lost everything, your love for me still lived on. Even as it tore you apart, you kept fighting to make it back to me. A few blanks in your memory don't account for how someone so fiercely determined could suddenly become a completely different person. But, Giselle, how am I supposed to believe that? How am I supposed to believe that wasn't me, when everything about us is exactly the same? You're not the white-haired girl, Michel. Have faith in your own heart and the things you stand for. Have faith in your true self, in the person you are, the shape of your soul. You were never the white-haired girl, and you never will be. Remember when you first arrived at the mansion, Michel? I took your hand and together we watched dozens of different lives play out. Were your memories anywhere among them? It wasn't behind those doors that you found yourself, but in the remnants of the months we shared here. Was the white-haired girl anywhere in your memories? You are Michel, no one else. But that doesn't change what my body... I know you, Michel. I know who you are deep down. I love you from the bottom of my heart, and I want you to understand that, to know how I feel. Though we only shared our love for a month in life, it was enough for me to wait hundreds of years for your return. And you fought with everything you had to make it back to me, to get me out of here. You are the greatest man I have ever known. Giselle, how is it you always manage to see straight through me, Giselle? To give me exactly what I want, that smile, that single ray of light in the endless dark. To say exactly what I've so desperately yearned to hear. The words I've sought for countless years. Giselle! I reach out for her, but she'd begun to fade, her outline hazy and blending into the surroundings, and all I manage to grab is empty air. I want more than anything to feel her warmth right now, the sensation of her skin against mine, but there's nothing there. Please, Giselle, don't leave my side again. Don't worry, I'm right here with you. I'm not going anywhere. Giselle, put your hands on my shoulders. Wrap your arms around me. I can't. I want to so much, but I can't feel you there at all. You can, Michel, I promise. Close your eyes. Now reach forward, slowly. You can feel me there, can't you? That's my finger, and that's my hair. Those are my eyes, and here are my lips. Here's my heart, where I keep all the feelings you gave back to me, and my love for you. In body and in spirit, I am all yours. Can you sense me here beside you? I think I can. Now, hold on and don't let go. You know, it's kind of funny. We're like two awkward kids around each other, bound together by a love so amazingly powerful, yet we only ever held hands a few times, and embracing is like some incredible achievement for us. True. And we're supposed to be full-grown adults. Kiss me, Michel. We never got the chance while we were alive. Giselle. Or are you going to tell me to wait again? Not this time. I feel my way around the emptiness where she is, her skin white but not pallid, her slightly flushed cheeks dimpled by her smile, her lips, which at times called me master and at times called me Michel, her entire being, this woman who accepted me as a man, who, even in death, continued to bring me back from my darkest places. She is my everything. I feel a faint breath against my neck, somewhere between a sigh and a giggle. I feel her warmth, which I thought I would never know again, the soft touch of her skin. I envision her face before me, where I'm sure she is, with her eyes closed, and I press my lips against hers. It's a quick, clumsy affair, just a little peck. Not the kind of kiss two grown adults might be expected to share, but nonetheless, a gentle warmth spreads through my body from the place her lips touched. It's a sensation so pleasant, so nice. I can hardly believe it's real. Our surroundings dissolve, and the world takes on a new face, a plane of tranquil light created by Giselle, into which the mansion's darkness slowly seeps. The difference is, now I'm not afraid to step back into it. All it took was that single, irreplaceable moment to change my everything. Though I can't see her there, I can feel her presence right beside me. Her heart, and that she too can feel mine. I won't falter anymore. I'm through hesitating, wavering about in fear of my own weakness. I will look to the future. I will believe in myself, because she believes in me. I'm done carrying the chains I created for myself. I have work to do. No more looking away from my responsibility. As the light dims and the darkness begins to take over, I hear her voice in my ear. Michel, can I ask you to lend your hand to someone? You've set me free, and now I'd like you to do the same for her. This is something I don't think anyone else can do. Only you can rid the mansion of its darkness. I'm here with you too, so let's open the final door together. The true final door. We can put an end to all this tragedy. I know we can. Now, off we go, Michel, and do not let go of my hand. Let me just get a drink.
Woof.
Giselle. Reality fades back into view. I'm looking at neither the endless, eroding darkness nor the visions of my past, but the sea of blood spreading in all directions. I'm standing at the top of the observation tower, outside the door. I've returned. Back in Morgana's world, her bitter, hate-filled, curse-fueled world. To tell you the truth, I didn't see this coming. This is my mansion, my domain. She was supposed to be locked up. But it would seem my will is not as absolute as I had thought. What would you call that? The power of love? Is that what allowed this to happen? How trite. Where's the magic? The miracle? I can think of one other reason she was able to escape, and it's the only way we'll be able to find the power we need to cast off the darkness of this house. But first, before we do anything else, we must open this door. Whatever nonsense that woman filled your head with, it certainly seems to have put some fight into those eyes. Well, good for you, my dear. A little confidence boost doesn't erase the fact that you are on the ground, crawling through the filth like a worm, tears streaming down your face as you try to ignore what lay before you. A little self-esteem isn't going to make you any less helpless when you step through that door. But that won't stop me from trying. I'm done acting like you're some inevitability, some force of nature. It's time for me to take a stand, Morgana. The air around the door has a distinct chill to it as I place my hand against the wood surface. My arms, once bloody and lacerated, are now whole again. I can feel my entire body, everything back in its rightful place. I take in a breath, lift my head, focus my gaze on the door, and push it open. Resting on the back of my hand, I can feel another palm, soft and warm. Through the single window sitting high atop the wall shines a ray of light. A black butterfly flutters within the beam. Its form is indistinct, wavering like a mirage as it slowly descends to the tower floor. And then, from within the darkness, a person appears. Is this the first time we're probably seeing the witch? Is that you, Morgana? How does it feel to finally meet the real thing, my dear? I knew you were young, but you really are still a child. Having heard her tale, I know she died still a girl, and I know how she came to bear so much hatred for the world. But knowing and seeing are two very different things. The sight of her bony adolescent body is a painful reminder that she never had a chance to know happiness, to know adulthood, before being robbed of her life. I had assumed a monster would be your first reaction, with a face and a body like this. How very sweet of you, Michel. So tell me, what exactly do you mean to do now that you're here? Your ultimate goal was, as I understood it, to take Giselle back. But she's no longer here for me to return to you. She broke out of my cage and exhausted what remained of her soul to show herself to you. I cannot perceive even a trace of her presence any longer, so I presume her soul shattered, dissipated to nothing. No, she's right here beside me. Is that so? You seem to believe as much anyway, which only makes your presence here a bigger mystery. Ah, I know. You want revenge. I made you miserable while you were alive, and I continue to torment you in death. You entrusted me with Giselle's life, and I used her for my own ends. You must despise me. Hatred fills you. You want to curse me, to kill me. My death could well mean the end of all this. Shall I grant you that wish? She flicks a finger. And the next second a longsword clatters to the floor at my feet. Take the blade in your hands, and like the knight of old who has executed the witch, pierce my heart with it. Do now what should have happened then. You always wanted to be a knight, didn't you? Go on. Pick it up. Show me your revulsion, my dear. Morgana. I do have a reason for being here. I came to save you. Did you hit your head on the way up? You came to save who? I spent so long trying to look away when I should have been trying to look deeper. To tell you the truth, your constant chattering in the darkness evoked more than annoyance in me. I empathized with your loneliness. I bear no hatred for you. It was my despair that brought you back to life, so that makes it my responsibility to end this. My own wish has given me all the redemption I need, my dear. Or should I be expecting another self-righteous lecture about how hatred does you no good? Brilliant, Michel, brilliant. Do you have any idea how absurdly presumptuous you're being? Trying to force your idea of redemption onto something who has no interest in it. If the tale you showed me was the whole truth, then I would have said you could revile those heartless men as much as you pleased. But I refuse to believe that that's the whole story. The men I saw beyond the first 3 doors had genuine concerns and worries. They felt things, real human emotions, even if those things ultimately led them down a path of destruction. Wanting to do something nice for the one you care about. Being disgusted at things you've done. Hiding your urges from those around you. You certainly couldn't call them good men, but they were real people with real conflicts. So you're saying I'm lying? Well, I can't say I blame you. Who would believe the word of a witch? I don't think you falsified your account, Morgana. The tragedy, no. The grisly reality you described, I don't doubt any of that happened. You wouldn't be here otherwise. But I've learned something in my years. Reality exists from more than one perspective. That doesn't change what happened. That two-faced young man deceived me. The beast severed my arm. And the greedy, power-hungry lord used me for his own personal gain. Events by themselves do not tell the whole story. Only when you take into account their circumstances, what they thought and felt, their perspectives, only then can you say you've reached the truth. Your point being? Are you going to march down to where their souls are and ask them for their perspective? Don't waste your breath. They'll only tell you what benefits themselves the most. Then we do it our way. We open the door to your past. And if I refuse? This is my domain, my world. It operates in accordance to my will. The door won't open unless I allow it to. Were you aware, Morgana, that I recovered my first memory in front of a mirror? You what? The same mirror Giselle used to practice her smile. And in all those hundreds of years, bits of her memory came to reside within it. Every time she stood before that mirror, she had me in her heart. And next, I saw one of my own memories play out in my bedchamber. It was the first day after we opened the windows, when she let the morning sun into my room. That day was a turning point in my life. And why are you telling me this? Because it means this world doesn't belong only to you. It's also hers and mine. And that is why she was able to break free. Your wish is without question the most powerful of anyone's here, and you have more authority over this place than anyone else. There is no denying your position as master of this mansion. But Giselle and I, we too have influence over this domain. I was the one who resurrected you, and she who served as your guide. So the door will appear, whether or not it is your will. Their souls reside here as well. They may spin convenient tales, but the memories ingrained upon their souls can tell no lies. All the pieces are on the board. The door will open. Say the door does open. What does that change? Nothing those men may have thought or felt can take back what they did to me, this rotting, broken creature they turned me into. I don't care what was going through their heads. They will never have my forgiveness. My hatred is unwavering. My wish will not be undone so easily. Their souls shall suffer for all eternity. Before we begin, Morgana, let's get one last lingering question out of the way. And what might that be? Who the white-haired girl is. Ooh, I don't know why I just got chills there. As the reality that the white-haired girl was actually the witch. Because... ooh, what is that weird background? Singing a recitation in the music. Damn, that was kind of eerie. Yeah, I remember saying earlier in the playthrough that there was a memory that the girl with the white hair said where she was in a tower and she could only see outside I don't know if it was a memory she was talking about or something in her past, or she read a story and it was like a person stuck in a tower and she could only see out of a small window. And I remember thinking, wait, that was the witch was stuck in the tower. And I was wondering if that must mean that there's some relation. That's your lingering question? We've already established. That was you, Morgana. So in a desperate plea to deny you came back as a woman, you're now trying to make me into her? That is perhaps the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. That was you, my dear. Don't avert your eyes. You must face reality. I'm not averting my eyes, and I'm not in denial. I have faith. Faith that I only ever made it back to this mansion once, when I awoke in the rocking chair beside the fireplace. Ha! Nevertheless, that hardly justifies accusing me of being that foolish girl. How could you possibly think I was her? Never have I not been present in these walls, not even while she was alive and in the claws of tragedy. My hair is not white, nor are my eyes red. And look at this horrid, festering face. How could I ever become her? How your soul appears is irrelevant in this case, Morgana. I will uncover the truth about you, things even you don't know. And if I can show that you are in fact the white-haired girl, in that moment will your reality be rewritten. If you're so confident, then be my guest. Find out for yourself just how little you're capable of. Blackness fills the observation tower once more. Morgana fades into the distance, leaving me alone in the dark stream. It's a darkness I've seen, felt, and been consumed by numerous times since arriving at the mansion. But this time, I welcome it, praying that beyond it lies the truth with the power to release all from the house's grip. This next tale has no narrator. I won't sit back and listen as someone recounts the path of fate for me. No, I have to find the path for myself this time. I don't know what awaits me beyond the black, but no matter what it may be, so long as I have the power to provide redemption, I must never put down my sword. Now, let us open the door. The final door. Ooh. Demon Child achievement unlocked. The final door. Question mark, question mark, question mark time? They're not going to give us a year, okay. And I think this is a great time for me to end this part of the playthrough. The final door at the beginning. So jarring when you go back to the main title screen. But yes, that was oof. That got a lot worse before it got a bit better. Oh man, Michel's own mother coming and just like totally just denouncing Michel and his soul to hell. Being crucified and put on display in the middle of the village, watching your body decay in front of everyone and then being used as a toy by children and the crows alike. And then watching it finally be burned after all that time. Yes, that was something. But then Giselle came to save us. And with her final, I mean, she's with us, but she's kind of lost her. So? Lost the. I mean, she is kind of with us, but almost not with us. And to confront the witch. And I had thought that maybe the witch was the white-haired girl. I love this. They've like. The white-haired girl, you're like, who's the white-haired girl? And I was like, oh, it looks like Michel, because Michel has these things. And I was like, oh, it was Michel all along. And I was like, no, it was the witch all along? What the hell? So, yes, definitely a roller coaster of a ride, this story. But we'll leave it there for now. This is an amazing visual novel. I don't even know how long I've been playing. I've been doing this playthrough now, definitely since last year. It's been a while. But this has been phenomenal. But yes, we'll leave it there. This is the house in Fata Morgana. I am Ash Mannix, and I will hopefully see you guys next time. Bye bye.